welcome back to Pikachu clones.
Yeah.
I was just bitching about how Mimikyu is not often considered a Pikachu clone, despite the fact it's literally a fucking clone of Pikachu.
Yeah.
Well, it's not actually a literal clone, but it, it looks
we
like
love
it.
Pikachu clones.
They say you can't count Meryl as a Pikachu clone, which makes sense, because that was like other people misconstruing Meryl. They say to be a Pikachu clone, you have to be electric type, and you have to be a rodent with electric cheek sacs. So apparently Mimikyu and fucking Meryl don't count.
Yeah, I don't think it
Meryl I
has to be
get, but
electric.
Mimikyu is like... But so as a result, like people are like, what's your favorite Pikachu clone? I'm like, I don't fucking know. They all suck. If I'm not allowed to have Mimikyu, then what's the freaking point?
Excuse me, Plusle
your
and
favorite Pikachu
Minor are
clone?
right there. Or Minor
They're
are right
not
there.
good. They're literally bad, though.
Yeah, but, you know, they're red and blue.
Wow, you know what, Frank? I've changed. I'm a new man. I've changed my ways.
We consider that they are
Did you know,
funny
actually,
tag team Pokemon that do nothing else.
Puzzle is so fucking bad that they give you a free one in Pokemon Coliseum, and it sucks so hard that like the only way they use it in a speed run is there are these enemies they don't respawn if you lose to them, so they use Puzzle to die instantly, so to just get to skip through the fights and never have them respawn.
It's pretty cool.
That's all he's good for, is dying. What's your favorite Pikachu clone, guys? Go.
I just fucking told you. It's Plusle and Minor.
Yeah, alright, fine. I just didn't like your answers, so I decided to ignore them, I guess.
Yeah, right, choose my favorite Pikachu clone.
Oh, that might be counted. I do like Raichu. I do not like a Alolan Raichu though, but everyone loves him. So Jesus!
Well, that's because he's surfing and is living his best life, and you're just a hater.
I don't mind the surfing. I just think he looks dumb.
I guess, is Pichu the Pikachu clone in Gen 2?
I don't think it should. Some people count it, but I don't think it counts because it's literally
An evolution.
part of
I don't know.
Pikachu's life.
I've never been a Pikachu guy. I've always been an Eevee guy.
Can I tell you something? This is paradoxical and weird and strange.
I'm hovering,
but
but yeah, sure.
I'm more Pikachu than Eevee because I feel like people are like, oh, Pikachu's so popular.
I had to
like
do the
Eevee
bit
better.
again. I'm sorry, I had to do the bit again. I left the call when you said that. I threw myself off the bridge when you said those words, and you backstabbed me and you twisted the knife.
It's because I think a lot of Eevee people are like, and I'm not necessarily saying that you're like this, but a lot of Eevee people are like, I'm gonna pick Eevee because Pikachu's overrated. I kind of feel like it's gone so far that way that it's kind of gone the other way now.
Okay,
Where it's
so
like, I feel like there's so many Eevee fans.
So
it's
while
like, I don't know, Pikachu's feel
no,
underrated.
I'm not like that. However, they're not wrong.
I just feel like Pikachu
is overrated as shit compared to 90% of the Pokemon that exist.
I don't know. I honestly don't think so. I think this is my weirdest, possibly most head-ass take I've ever had in my life. Oh, thank God. I kind of weirdly think that Pikachu is underrated now.
That is some crazy fucking shit to say.
Did you guys evolve your Pikachu in Special Pikachu Edition in Pokemon Yellow?
I thought you couldn't.
You can't?
I know you can't. Well, I wouldn't know because I didn't have Pikachu, but in Eevee, you can't evolve the Eevee.
Maybe I did it in Leaf Green then, because I know I got a Raichu like relatively.
It would have had to been Leaf
before
Green, because I think you can't evolve Pikachu in Yellow either.
You can't, because I have Yellow, and I can tell you that you can't.
Yeah.
So you can't get a Thunderstone, or it just doesn't want to
The
evolve?
Pikachu tells you to fuck off because
doesn't
it's the
wanna
Pikachu
evolve.
from the anime, so it tells you to fuck
Yes.
off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is funny,
And
because
it's
then they're like, no. So for Let's Go Eevee, your Eevee also has to be like the anime Pikachu and not want to
What the
evolve at
fuck?
all whatsoever. So instead, they gave Eevee a bunch of busted, like, fucking elemental stab moves that were just absolutely busted as shit to make up for the fact that they're, like, not same type bonuses as if you'd evolved that Pokemon.
Stephanie, add in the instant transmission sound effect when that fucking iron golem fucking transported halfway across the room and neither Frank nor Mabini even decided to whisper a gasp.
Well, I
I'm
wasn't
sorry,
paying
we've gone over this so many times that we're not allowed to actually commentate on the gameplay. So I've been sitting here looking at Google images of Mimikyu disguising other Pokemon. So
Okay, here's a question then. If you're Mr. Eevee, you're so crazy Eevee loving, got a big fucking Eevee plush in your room that you sleep on every night.
unfortunately, I
what's your
don't
favorite
have
evolution?
one. So I think we talked about this last time. The last time we played Scarlet Violet, or Violet rather. Maybe I don't know if we
So
actually
much-
brought up the fact that they're doing the real life sized plushies of the Eeveelutions.
There's a Vaporeon.
I can't remember
one,
if I
isn't there?
brought that up. Right?
We're talking about Gardevoir.
Yeah,
So-
that happened in the
Life-
first one. In the second recording session, I can't remember if I actually brought it up or if I just brought it up to the other guys in the other Discord, where I was like, "It's crazy that they're doing this." They originally did the Vaporeon Jolteon and Flareon, and then they also announced that later is going to be the rest of the evolutions. But in that announcement, I found out that they already did the Eevee one, and the Eevee one was only $40, but it was sold out. It was out of stock. And I was like, God damn it, I probably would have bought that if I knew about this one. Because that's like actually affordable instead of the $300 for the Vaporeon one. Or,
the
all the
Vaporeon one is kind of cool because the Vaporeon one it's actually inflatable plastic and you fill it up with water. Anyway, what's your favorite evolutions?
I'm also pretty sure I've gone on record saying this, but it's Sylveon. Is my favorite evolution. I mean, obviously before Sylveon existed, Vaporeon was originally my favorite evolution, and this comes with the issue of being like a normal, well-adjusted. Well, I say well-adjusted. I'm an adjusted person. I'm not a deranged person. But I like Vaporeon because of the 3 evolutions. Gary made me hate Jolteon, and Flareon was just okay, but I always preferred Vaporeon. And then you find out freaks are like, I want to fuck the Vaporeon, so Vaporeon's now the fuck Pokemon. Come to Gen 3 as a child, I love Gardevoir. Gardevoir is just so cool, and now Gardevoir is the fuck Pokemon. I want to fuck the Pokemon. If you like Gardevoir, you're someone who wants to fuck the Gardevoir.
I don't really care. I also use Gardevoir anyway.
I mean, yes, I also ignored them. What I'm saying is you still have to deal with this fucking horse shit, and it's annoying. Or, now in Ultra Moon, I'm fucking picking Torracat here, and they're like, oh, you just want to fuck the Incineroar.
Frank.
It's like, no. Frank like Torracat. Yes?
Grabs you by the collar. Gets too close to you. Franklin.
Huh?
It's my beanie's time.
Yeah, okay. I'm done with my TED talk.
About evolution.
I think I've got a Jolteon in Leaf Green. I think the one I actually used the thing on was I used the Firestone and got Flareon. I don't think I have a Vaporeon, or if I do, it's just for having it. I didn't like it. I haven't got any of the other evolutions, but apart from Colosseum, we had Umbreon and Espeon. So I think I like Espeon.
Yeah,
it just seems like a more solid Pokemon because it's got Psychic. So
I like Espeon or ESPN for Colosseum reasons.
ESPN. Yeah.
I mean, like my way what was like it started out as Eevee, and then I'm like, of the 3, it's Vaporeon, and then Gen 2 comes around, and now Espeon's my favorite. Gen 4 comes around, and they kind of miss me. I don't hate Glaceon or Leafeon, but they never became my favorite. And then Gen 7 came around, I'm like, oh, Sylveon, this is sick. I love this. This is cool.
What type is Sylveon?
Fairy.
Yeah, fairy.
Oh.
And now I just have the general consensus where I just, at baseline, I just like all of the evolutions, and then like it's just like which ones I like slightly more than the other ones. I don't dislike any of the evolutions.
I haven't got through that part of Pearl yet to be able to start catching cool Pokemon. Probably because I just didn't start taking it seriously until Heart Gold, and then I was recently just like lying in bed sick, being like, I just need to do something. Well, recently it's just been watching Game of Thrones, and I'm like halfway through season 6, which is I've started to notice the writing is a little bit off.
I think that you had not started Game of Thrones when we did the last recording session. You said you were thinking of it. You can talk all about Game of Thrones. So have you gotten up to that goddamn zombie polar bear yet? No,
because that's a season 7 thing. And I've actually been thinking about that. So they've got like zombie horses in season 1. So I'm like, it is possible, but is it reasonable? Alright, it's just kind of unnecessary. Zombie dragon would be kind of cool.
I was talking to my dad about Game of Thrones. Said that we might do like a father-son, like we'll watch it together. So I might end up finally watching it. Yeah. Though it was kind of funny. We were with someone else when we were talking about it, and it's one of those things where as a writer, it's good to like learn that there are people like that out there. Because like, I put a lot of work into my writing. I put a lot of effort into, characterization, into world building, into getting the dialogue just right. And, really trying to create and craft this story the best that I possibly can. The person we were talking to, they'd watched all of Game of Thrones, all of it. And I was like, oh, you know, I haven't really watched Game of Thrones before. I'm not sure if it's really my thing, you know, but I do know that it's like, it's got extremely good, you know, writing and character development, and it's all about like, you know, I guess mind games in a sense, and it's like, you know, really, really well characterized and written. You have these really intelligent characters that are doing things like that, right? And the person was like, oh yeah, it's got all that, but you know, you don't really have to watch for any of that. I didn't understand what was going on at any time. I just really thought the visuals were nice, and I was like,
What?
like fucking Guardians of the Galaxy, Chris Pratt. I've never seen Game of Thrones, but I was like, well, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, I never know what's going on in those kind of shows, but I really enjoyed it because, you know, it had cool like swords and stuff. And I was like, but isn't Game of Thrones, isn't it all about like the and like my dad was very quick to be like, no, it is about like the writing and the character development stuff, just ignore that. But I was like, oh my god, I've met one of these people. One of these people that purely engages with media on the most surface level possible. And as a writer, it's so fascinating.
Welcome to
because
why
I sit there and I
so
go,
popular, buddy.
Well, I just sit there and I go like, wow, you know, it's just interesting to know that you can put so much effort into your writing. And I know that like most of it goes under the radar, but like to the point where Game of Thrones, which is known for its writing, for someone to watch the entire thing, not just like, you know, the first season or whatever, just the whole
they want to
entire
see
show.
the guys
and
talking to dudes in medieval time, and then there's
no,
like
apparently they like
zombies
they like the ice zombies and stuff, and it's like, all right then. It's just, I don't know, it was a rude awakening for me. I mean, I always knew people like that existed, but to actually meet them, I was just like, wow.
The way I like to think of Game of Thrones, I'd seen the first episode. I was like, oh, I don't like it because it's because they push Bran off the tower, and that's like the whole start of his journey and his family's journey and everything that happens from the Stark family's perspective. I have lost my thoughts. I'm gonna have to get back to you in the next episode.
All right. See you then, I guess.
Game
Bye.
of Wakers.
Game of Wakers.